Okay.
Could you base it down?
No, I can't move it. It's stuck.
Okay. Daddy, look.
Yeah. Good, good. So, here's the axe head as it is. Still a lot of swirlies on there. I haven't worked on it in months. You can see there's a little tiny hit of rust starting there. So all I'm going to do is try to get rid of the swirlies. I'm not going to take out the pitting. And once it's in a state that I like, I'm going to put it on the haft. And then sharpen it up. And then we'll see what we got. Let's get to work. You see how I'm getting a slurry? That's a pretty good sign, but I don't know how long this is going to take. For the record, I started this at 2:15. What I'm using here is a 600 grit wet and dry sandpaper, but like it's getting rid of some of the here. It's getting rid of some of the patina, but it's not yet strong enough to get through the original tooling marks from when this axe was originally ground. So I'm gonna have to try something else out. Now you'll all be doubtless happy to know that today it's gone right back down to minus 17 degrees Celsius. Well, I don't know what that is in Fahrenheit for you old folks or Americans. And minus 29 with the wind chill. So since I'll be in my unheated garage, I'm prepared, baby. Jeez, my hands are cold. But yeah, this is an 80 grit, and I'm not gonna try to get to a shine with this, obviously. I'm just trying to knock off some of the old grind marks and some of the high spots. Losing the feeling in my hands. It's looking better. Getting there. Okay, with that little mouse sander, like there's still a lot of texture on it, but it's more sort of uniform. I think it'll be easier for me to grind it out with the sandpaper at this point. Here we are so far. Man, my hands are cold. Should have worn gloves. Sanding or sharpening or anything gets easier once you've built up the slurry, because it starts to help do the actual grinding action. So for the first few seconds of any sharpening on a stone or sandpaper or anything, you gotta keep at it for a few seconds before it starts to really go. So like if you're starting out on sharpening or anything, don't just grind for a minute and think, this isn't working. You gotta wait until there's like we call it a slurry. It's like a slushy substance, and that's sort of it's an abrasive that works with the metal and the paper to get you the effect you want. You see this stuff that's starting to build up? That's the beginning of my slurry. Yeah, that's what I want to see. So look, starting with 600 was a stupid idea. So I took it back to 180, 220, then to the 600, and now I'm on 800. I don't know how much of a polish I'm really going to go for at this point, because doing this by hand takes a long time and it does start to hurt after a while. I've done this in 2 chunks right now. The first was from about 2:15 until maybe 3:45. And now I'm back at it, starting at 5:30. Right now it's like 6 something. It's getting there, but it's not like some of the original scratches from the original grinding are gonna stay. I'm just not gonna, I don't want to waste 2 days on this head. It's a no-name head. But I'm back to 800, then I'm going to go to 1,000, and then 2,000, and we'll see where we are. At that point, I'm going to call it a day.
That's all right.
Got a little Joe Robinet Bushcraft on the YouTubes while I'm doing this, because this is not that interesting a job.
You can see the only real damage done.
Okay, it is like 7:15-ish. Here's what we've gotten to. As I said, shined up. I did not grind out all the pitting, because I like that. I like anything that tells the story of the axe's life. I didn't really do much on the top or the bottom. I don't think it's that important. I made the pole nice and shiny as well. Again, I didn't take out any of the character. I didn't want to waste the character, even though it's a no-name axe. It's still old, and I wanted to, to keep the history there. I think after doing this, maybe I'll try bluing a head at one point. If I'm trying out new things, it's pretty nice actually. I don't like the really shiny axe head look, but it's pretty cool. I think when I seat this baby on that handle I think I'm going to be pretty happy with it. One thing that, like, my secret weapon when it comes to shining stuff like this up is like the strop with some new compound on it. Like, I like to, give it a good rub and see, just because it's like a very fine sandpaper, and like after sharpening and everything, that's what I like to do. I strop the end, and then I sort of come back a little bit and, just give a real good shine up to the last. That doesn't count. So I haven't done yet. That's what I'm looking for. This guy right here. See, there's my iPhone. Like I strop up the edge, but then I come back a bit, I'll definitely be doing that on the new one here. But aside from that, this head's ready to go. Next step is going to be to hang it. I've got some wedges. I'll go through the wedges and look for one that's the right size. But I'll do that in the next video. Now, to do this, I did a couple of things. First of all, I did it all by hand, aside from that initial grinding, just to smooth it out a bit. I don't really think I suggest that. At some point, I'm going to get, I don't know what I would use. Like, I've got a belt sander, but it's a very simple one. And I don't have a very fine belt on it, so I didn't really want to get too crazy with that. One thing I did notice while I was going at it with my sander is, on a day like today when it's like -20 or whatever it was, you don't have to worry about ruining your temper, because the whole thing is acting like a heat sink. This thing did not warm up at all, especially when the wind started coming into the garage. Another thing is, under this newspaper, one thing you might find interesting is I've got one of these mouse pads, and so while I was like sanding it, I had it resting like that, just to sort of keep the so that it wasn't all bouncing around. I had it on the mouse pad like that. it looks terrible here, but when it's on the table, it's perfect. Aside from that, I went with wet and dry sandpaper. As I said, I started with like 180, 220, 600, just because I didn't have anything in between, 800, 1000, and 2000. That's what I got. But it was a lot of work. It took a long time. So I'm unconvinced that I would do this again. But even as it is, you know, there's still a lot of lines in here. You know, the pitting I don't mind, but the lines kind of bug me. Maybe someday in the future, when I've got some sort of machine that I can use, maybe I'll give it another go over it, just to get closure. But for now, I'm pretty happy with the way it came out. So, yeah, that's this episode. Next one will be sticking the handle on. So that's all she wrote for now. If you like what I'm doing here, then please comment down below, subscribe, share, give me a smiley thumb. If you don't like what I'm doing, give me a frowny thumb. Thanks for watching, guys.